Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited. John Haynes, the man with nothing to lose. The man who rules the world runs into the irresistible force of a man with nothing to lose in this action-packed, all-new John Haynes series adventure. Get the regular and variant editions of John Haynes, the man with nothing to lose on Amazon.com today. A Texas man allegedly shot and killed his female co-worker because she took long breaks.
Well, we are learning new details about a deadly shooting at a workplace in Louisville. New police documents revealed the suspect and victim were co-workers at Allegiance Trucking, and that the suspect, Travis Merrill, was obsessed with the victim, Tamara Collazo. Investigators say Merrill told them he was getting increasingly angry with Collazo because he says she was taking long lunch breaks and also not paying attention to him. They say he admitted to bringing guns to work on multiple occasions, waiting for the right time to shoot Collazo. When officers reported to the scene last Thursday, they found Merrill with his hands already up in the air. Collazo shot and killed. Merrill remains behind bars at the Denton County Jail, charged with murder.
Now, in this alleged incident that took place in Louisville, Texas, at Allegiance Trucks, 51-year-old Travis Merrill allegedly shot and killed his co-worker Tamara Collazo at her desk after she returned from lunch. Now, according to reports, Travis Merrill was extremely angry for an extended period of time because he believed that Tamara Collazo was allegedly taking unauthorized long lunch breaks during work hours, and as he was going out here and noting her taking these unauthorized long lunch breaks during work hours, he basically started to be allegedly obsessed with her as related to her behavior at work, and this caused Tamara Collazo to report Travis Merrill to the Human Resource Department. And after being disciplined by the Human Resource Department and being told to take counseling, Travis Merrill allegedly returned back to work. But as he returned back to work, he had been seething with anger behind the scenes. And as he seethed with anger behind the scenes, he began to purchase firearms and began to practice using these firearms in a plan to possibly take the life of Tamara Collazo. And eventually, as they were at work, Tamara was looking to avoid Travis due to his what she believed to be disturbing behavior, and looked to avoid him as related to his behavior. And eventually this further made Travis Merrill extremely angry, and eventually things came to a head at the trucking company on October 17th, where Travis Merrill allegedly shot and killed Tamara Collazo at her desk after she came back from lunch, as related to coming back from one of the alleged long lunch breaks that Travis Merrill claimed that she went on. And because after participating in the shooting, the police department's building was right next to this building, and eventually they wound up arresting Travis Merrill. And after arresting Travis Merrill, he allegedly confessed to this crime and is now in custody on $10 million bail. Now, the Louisville police see this as an isolated incident, but when I take a critical examination of the alleged actions of Travis Merrill, they definitely fit the pattern and profile for beta males that I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis, and they also fit the pattern and profile for workplace simps that I talk about in my book, Stop Simping in the Workplace. And Travis Merrill definitely is a workplace simp who basically had a issue with Tamara Collazo, and that issue basically took his focus off himself and put it on this woman who he believed was out here taking unauthorized long lunch breaks. And this became something he fixated on because, like most beta males, like I talk about in my book, The Man Crisis, many beta males want the world to be fair, one, and they also want a smooth world where they don't have to deal with any problems, conflicts, or obstacles. However, this runs diametrically opposed to what the workplace is, the workplace in and of itself is a place that is filled with conflict and filled with obstacles and challenges. And one of those challenges a person has to make is being able to think critically and also know how to resolve conflicts when they reside. And in the case of this conflict, this was one that could have easily been resolved had Travis Merrill basically gone out here and minded his own business, because if he was not a direct supervisor of Tamara Collazo, her taking these alleged unauthorized long breaks shouldn't have been anything he should have been concerned about. No, he shouldn't have been concerned about anything regarding this woman taking what he believed to be a long lunch break unless he was a supervisor in charge, and he should have just been staying in his lane and minding his own business. Unfortunately, when it comes to beta males basically cannot go out here and stay in their own lane when it comes to having their world smooth. No, in order for their world to be smooth, people have to be in certain places at certain times, and they have to be doing things a certain way. But that's not how things work in life. No, that's not how things work in the real world of the workplace. No, you're going to be in a place where you're going to be dealing with all kinds of different people, and people are going to have habits, and some of them may not be as considerate as you think. And that's what happened here with Travis Merrill and Tamara Collazo. She basically thought that she was being inconsiderate and then began to start taking notes of her lunch breaks. And as he began to take notes of these so-called unauthorized long lunch breaks, he didn't go out here and look to resolve the conflict basically by just either going to a supervisor or basically going to Tamara to ask her about this at all. No, what he did was basically sit there like most beta males do and simmer and boil in anger regarding this situation. And as he simmered and boiled in anger, he then basically possibly looked to try to make his world smooth by going out here and harassing this woman regarding this minute issue, because many managers basically take it as a trade-off. If a worker is getting work done, they'll let things slide as related to a lunch break being maybe 5, 10, 15, or even 20 minutes longer than usual if they're getting the productivity. But when it comes to beta males, they don't really understand how this works in the world of work. No, because these men are feeling and not thinking and not understanding that sometimes you have to trade things off in order to get what you need. He basically wanted his world to be perfect, where everything would be fair and everybody would take their lunch breaks at a specific time. And this was the whole situation with the conflict. And as his behavior became more erratic and disturbing, this is where Tamara Collazo reported Travis Merrill's behavior to the supervisors, and this is where she wanted the HR to do something about him, watching her, because this behavior was basically stalking. And they had law enforcement talk to him, and they had him talk to a counselor before he could return to work. But the whole thing was that Travis Merrill, who thought, as he returned to work, thought everyone must think he was a psychopath. And the sad part is that as he returned to work, this woman had every right to avoid him, because his behavior was downright creepy to be focused on this woman. And when she's going to lunch, I mean, that behavior in and of itself is just plain creepy. Again, if there's an issue with a coworker taking a long lunch, the supervisors will deal with that issue. It is not for a subordinate worker to get upset over another employee taking a long lunch. No, a worker is supposed to just stay in their own lane, mind their business, and then just get your paycheck. You're not put there to go out here and try to be somebody looking to make things better. I mean, this is one of the things that makes workplace simps a nightmare at work, is that they'll try to go out here hoping to create a covert contract with bosses by hoping, oh, if I get this woman to come in at a certain time or do things and make things smooth, people will start to notice me and try to look to promote me. This is another thing that they do. But this man's behavior started to become so obsessive after being disciplined. This is where he went from simmering and boiling in anger to going to be fueling a rage. And as he began to fuel his rage after returning to work, he began to purchase these firearms and practice movements with the firearms. And after practicing movements with the firearms, he had then came to work with the guns, which again, he came there again with malice aforethought, and then eventually wound up one time looking to attempt to shoot this woman. Then another day decided, after he had followed her into the parking lot during her lunch break and watched her sit in her car while he was getting guns ready in his own car, which is really disturbing. And then after she returned from her lunch break, he went and followed her into her cubicle and then shot and killed this woman. And again, this is the kind of behavior that workplace simps and beta males participate in, because they are angry that this person has the audacity to go out here and live their life in a way that they don't agree with. And what this man didn't agree with was the fact that this woman was going out here taking a lunch he thought was longer than expected, because in his world he wanted everything to be smooth and everything where everybody is supposed to do everything and be in a certain place, which is a trait of beta males, that they want everything to go one way. And as things don't go their way, what they do is look to destroy the person who they believe is making their world rough. And that's what this man did with malice aforethought, as he went out here after being disciplined, went out here, purchased these guns, and then went out here and looked to do one attempt on this woman's life. Then allegedly then came and went out here and participated in this murder, then confessed to this murder. And that's where Travis Merrill went from being a working man who was under the authority of management, to now winding up on the road to being under the authority of the CEO. And as he's under the business authority of the CEO, he will also be under the social pecking order of Bubba, Tiny, Roscoe, Big Dave, Melvin, and Mr. Sprinkles. And if he goes out here and decides to disagree with them inside of Cell Block D, they are basically going to go out here and teach him the rules of the workplace as related to the yard, as related to the cell block, and as related to the commissary, as he's going from being a guy who was again working at a trucking company to a guy who's going to get a train run on him, as he's traded for Little Debbie snack cakes, ramen noodles, packets of Crystal Light lemonade, packets of Crystal Light tea, off-brand lemon lime drink, off-brand grape drink, off-brand orange drink, off-brand cherry drink, off-brand fruit punch, off-brand apple juice, off-brand Oreo cookies, off-brand duplex cookies, off-brand vanilla wafers, off-brand ginger snaps, Hunt snack pack puddings, beef sausage, hot and sour pickles, Fritos chips, prison chips, packets of soy sauce, packets of sriracha sauce. They're going to be running a train on this dude, turning his tight end into a wide receiver. And dude is going to basically rue the day he got in that business of that woman, because he's going to be going from making a nice salary at Allegiance Trucks to going to making maybe 10 cents to $1 an hour inside of the penitentiary. And basically, as he's working for that small change, he's going to be having to ride a lot of trains in the front side and the back side. And Mr. Sprinkles is going to come in during one of these sessions without the beef sausage and spray him with special sauce, glazing the front side and the back side, then calling all the guys of Cell Block D to have them see him get his cheeks split open and looking like the inside of a Louisiana crunch cake. And that's again where this guy, Travis Merrill, will regret the day he got fixated on this woman, and getting upset about Tamara Collazo and her long lunch breaks, because in the penitentiary, he's going to have to deal with an order and a structure where you're basically going to get your lunch break basically dictated to you and your yard time dictated to you. And he's going to be dealing with this for the rest of his life, because he didn't have the brains to understand that when you're at the job, your focus needs to be on you and focused on what you need to do at work, because the only thing that matters at the job for you is getting that paycheck and the way you do that is to mind your business and do your job, not be a workplace tattletale like this simp was, because this simp, basically, he was out here looking to tattle on this woman as related to lunch breaks, which again are something that many managers don't go out here, and if they don't have an issue with it, you shouldn't have an issue with it either. Yeah, it's not fair that some people take a little more time as related to their lunch breaks than others, but it's just a part of business, and it's a part of business that if a supervisor isn't saying anything about it, then it's not my business at all. No, it's not my business at all about saying anything about somebody taking a lunch break as long as I'm getting paid. No, the only thing that any worker should be focused on is their business. And again, if a worker is taking a break that's too long, then that's the issue between them and management. And all you need to do is just sit in the back and chill, because eventually what will happen is this woman will eventually be disciplined by management. And if they don't, then you don't care. Again, if it's that big of a problem, what you're supposed to do is, if you want to leave that job, go leave that job. But I'm not leaving no job over no woman taking no long break if I had a job. No, I'm just going to sit here, get this money, stack these chips, and work on building my business on the outside. And that's the things that I would do, because I look at this situation, again, this is a textbook case of a workplace simp who eventually became a man in crisis, and he's gone from being a free man making a good living at this trucking company to a man who will be making less than $1 an hour and be stuck having to go out here and spend his money on commissary, or if he doesn't have any money, he will be traded for commissary, because they said a lot of his stuff, he was giving it away because he was getting locked up and people were taking his stuff out of his apartment. I mean, this guy has gone from being a man who was doing all right, and he wound up putting himself in a crisis all due to his inability to mind his own business, something beta males don't know how to do. They don't know how to go out here and mind their business, and that's why their business winds up being put out on the street, and they go out and wind up going from being a man who was at work to winding up being in the penitentiary as yet another man in crisis. If you want to learn what leads to many guys to be motivated to participate in criminal behavior like this, and why they feel they need to be so fixated on one person like this, you can pick up my book, The Man Crisis, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find The Man Crisis at other online booksellers like Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. And if you want to learn how to identify workplace predators and learn how to avoid these workplace predators in order to help your career move forward, you can pick up my book, Stop Simping in the Workplace, on Amazon.com in paperback and Kindle format. You can also find Stop Simping in the Workplace at other online booksellers like Draft the Digital, Google Play, Barnes & Noble, and big box retailers like Walmart and Target. That's all I have to say for this video. You can comment, rate, and subscribe. Now available for the first time in paperback, Stop Simping in the Workplace. Men, learn what you need to know in order to protect your job from workplace predators with Stop Simping in the Workplace. Available in paperback at online booksellers everywhere. Now available in paperback and Kindle Unlimited, The Man Crisis. Learn why so many men are struggling to find their way in an increasingly gynocentric world in The Man Crisis. Get your copy of The Man Crisis in paperback and Kindle Unlimited today. Support Black-owned and Black-operated digital broadcast media. www.niceradionetwork.com. Nice Radio Network, broadcasting 24 hours a day, 7 days a week.